here are my top 10. Once again, these are the picks as I would make them, taking the first two out of it because, once more, those are so in stone, it would be a waste of time not to do it. I have Trey Lance going 3, Justin Fields going 4 to Denver, then Penei Sewell, then the Dolphins they hit the jackpot with Kyle Pitts falling to them at 6. I'm taking Jamar Chase for the Lions, who need a receiver at 7. Carolina needs to protect their new quarterback, Rashawn Slater, at 8. Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in this draft. I put him at 9 to Atlanta. And yesterday, Ryan Clark said he thinks J.C. Horn by a hair is a better prospect than Patrick Surtain. That's good enough for me. If RC says it, I'll go that way. And so I gave him to the Cowboys at number 10. There we go, Mel. You made this an art form. What do you think?
Hey, you don't like Alabama Crimson Tide players, Greeny, do you? You got Mac Jones still on the board. You got Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle still available. I think at 8 at Carolina, you haven't taken Slater. You would take Slater. The receivers, Moore and Anderson only have one more year on the contract, so maybe you go wide out there over the offensive line. Either way, I think they can't lose. But if that scenario worked out that way, New England will be sitting there saying, let's go get Mac Jones. Let's not wait to 15. Let's go get Mac Jones. That would be something I think would be ideal for the New England Patriots if he fell that far.
Repeating my philosophy, when you're choosing between an offensive tackle and a wide receiver, you take the tackle 100% of the time. Lewis, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I agree with you as far as that philosophy is concerned. We already talked about that as far as team building. But if this were to play out and the guy who on your screen right now, Mac Jones, does fall, I can promise you the people in New England, that whole region, the whole Northeast region will be screaming at the TV, go get him, Bill, go get him. And he will go get him. He'll go get him if that happens. And I think it could be one of those situations where, maybe more so than any other team as far as fit is concerned, that is exactly what New England would want. And that is exactly what they would need as far as how they construct that offense and how they want to play. And philosophically, I think he would fit right into he'd basically be going to the same culture that he would be leaving in Alabama. Because Bill and Nick had basically built their programs exactly the same. It's just that one's in college, one's in the pros, one has a salary cap, one can recruit as many 5-stars as they want. It would just be perfect for them. And if it plays out that way, I think you could absolutely say New England has won the offseason in a way that maybe no one else has ever won it.
Well, let me throw this at you there on that thought, Lewis, and for all of you guys. You played for Bill Belichick, Lewis. I've just followed him. Bill Belichick does not pay a high price for anything. To me, the idea that Bill is going to move up into the top 10 seems extraordinarily unlikely. Now, if this scenario does unfold and Mac Jones is sitting there at 12 or 13, then I see him doing it. But to give up what he would have to give up to get to number 8 in Carolina, I'll have to see that to believe it. If that happens, it will be unprecedented in his history. Lewis, what do you think of that?
Sure, that makes total sense. It makes total sense. Look, Bill is very economically driven. There's no secret about that. I think he takes a very analytical approach to making sure that he is getting great value when he moves up and down the draft board. I think this year is unique only because it's the quarterback position, because not only is he looking at this short term, he's also looking at it long term, and he knows he doesn't have a long-term option. If he feels as though the player that he's moving up for is an ideal fit for what he likes to do and how he likes to play and how he likes to make up of his players to look, he may pay a higher price. But if we get past pick 10 and Mac Jones is still on the board, I don't think there's any doubt his phone is going to be very, very busy, and he's going to be trying to strike a deal that maybe he'll pay a premium with. Maybe he'll pay a price that he's never paid before, simply because that pick would make just too much sense.
All right, and then, Booger, let me come to you on the first big decision that I had to make here, and that is that I put Trey Lance from North Dakota State at 3, not Mac Jones, as Vegas says, and basically everyone is telling me, but to me it just makes too much sense. Everyone we talk to, you and I are talking to the same people in this process, says that Trey Lance, if developed properly, might have as high an upside, a highest ceiling as any quarterback in this draft. And I can't think of a better situation for him to walk into it. It is basically Mahomes revisited than to go to San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, where he can sit for a year behind Jimmy Garoppolo and then take the reins. And I think you might have the Mahomes situation playing itself out again on the West Coast. That's my thinking, Booger. What do you think?
Yeah, Greeny, I'm on record saying that if you're going to trade what the San Francisco 49ers traded up, which is 3 first-round picks to come up to the number 3 spot, you're not coming up to get a guy that's going to manage the game. You're coming up to get a guy that you can put in a spot that'll win the game for you. And I know Mac Jones may be the most NFL ready, but Kyle Shanahan has come out and said that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be their quarterback, so they're preparing to have Jimmy Garoppolo. I would either go Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I like what you're thinking there, Greeny, because if you're going to come up, then you got to get a guy that has Hall of Fame potential. And the percentages say that it's going to be a dynamic athlete based on what a game of football is going right now. It's not going backwards. It's not going to Drew Brees or Tom Brady. The game is coming forward. The college game is giving us athletic dual-threat quarterbacks that when the offensive coordinator calls a play and the defense makes a play, the quarterback can now make the offensive coordinator right. And by all accounts, Mac Jones can't do that. Either Trey Lance or Justin Fields can do that. So I like what you're thinking. You've been on this Trey Lance train, Greeny, from the beginning.
I'm going to die on that hill.
Go Mac Jones, though.
Booger just froze. But go ahead, Mel, take the final thought on that one, because that decision.
I want to go back to New England, guys. This isn't Bill Belichick, saying, oh, he's never done this, he's never done that. He had Tom Brady. He had Drew Bledsoe, then he went to Tom Brady. When you have Tom Brady, and Todd McShay made this point yesterday, I'm only trading up to get a quarterback. That's it. Well, you didn't have to worry about it. You had Tom Brady. Now you don't have Tom Brady. I don't care what New England did all those years with Bill Belichick when he had Tom Brady. You don't have him anymore. You got to go up and get that quarterback. Can you imagine what would happen, guys, if one of those quarterbacks, whether it's Fields, Lance, or Jones, slides into that 10 spot and somebody else gets them, that 5th quarterback off the board, New England's sitting there with nothing? I mean, can you imagine if that happened? I don't think it happens, but if it did, I think Patriot fans are going to be really upset.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.